So, hi class, I have this lady here with me who's going to share her experiences with the hospital and the barriers that are associated with that. So, do you mind starting with your story about your dad?
Okay. In 1995, my father was constantly in and out of the hospital because he was an alcoholic but had been clean for 5 years. But because he'd been clean, he had kidney problems, asthma, everything started shutting down. And 2 days before he died, on February 15th, he'd gone to the hospital, and his wife said that he was blue-green in color, and they turned him away and made him go to a clinic because they told him he just had the flu, which ended up being 2 days later he ended up dying.
Quick question, do you believe that had anything to do with him being native or like
Yes,
him
I do.
having...
I totally do. There's a lot of people on this reserve that do think they get treated a lot different because they're native.
Okay.
Because with native association comes with alcoholism, which is a lot on this reserve.
That's
right?
a pretty big stigma.
Yeah. So when you go up there, a lot of them think, oh, you're just an alcoholic, and they don't really like to help you. Because when I was up there when my dad died, I felt very uncomfortable. People staring at us when we were in there because we're native, we had a lot of beliefs of praying and stuff like that, and people would just look at us, and then it was just very uncomfortable for all of us.
Did you find the hospital, did they accommodate those cultural beliefs that you guys had?
No, not really.
No.
Actually, my sister, she used to be a medical office assistant, and we actually tried to sue the hospital.
Oh.
But we didn't, because it's doctors, investigating doctors, really, you don't really have a chance. But what it was is because when they turned him away when he was blue and green, it had the sign that is up in the hospital. It says, the patients that are basically, I'm not sure word for word, but my understanding is the patients that are the sickest are the ones that are dealt with first.
It should be, yeah.
Yeah. So we went in there and took pictures of that sign because we didn't feel our dad had been dealt with the way he should have been.
Doesn't sound right.
Because he was constantly going, before he died, he was up in the hospital all the time. And then after he died, we had found, because my sister's an MOA, she got a hold of all the medical records of my father, and we found tests that showed his kidneys were failing, but no one ever told us that. So because back then, I wasn't using, any of us children could have given him a nice kidney, healthy kidney, but we never got that chance because we didn't know that he was actually, all those things were, because when he quit drinking, he ended up with asthma, diabetes, he died of congestive heart failure, but he had kidney problems too, because he kept going in there and complaining that his back was hurting, and all the signs of kidney failure.
Were they taken seriously at the hospital?
No. He wasn't taken seriously because they thought he's an alcoholic.
Oh, okay.
And that's all they cared about is that
he was
overlooked
in that sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was just a lot of the native people that are on all the reserves here in North Van do not like going to North Vancouver Hospital.
Instead of going to that hospital, where do they find, how do they access their health care? Do they just not go, or do they go to
They probably
just not go?
Probably just not go.
So
my mom, she used to work for Lionsgate Hospital.
Oh, okay.
And she wouldn't even go there. Anytime she needed anything done, she used to go out to Burnaby General.
Okay.
She worked there and she wouldn't go there because she knew how different people were being treated in there.
Okay. One last question, I guess, then. If you wanted to see changes, what would those changes be? How would the hospital make it more accommodating?
I think it would be just, being a little more sympathetic to, there is a lot of alcoholism with natives, but you know what? It doesn't mean that, you can't take care of them because you think they're a drunk or not. I think everybody's entitled to the same care, right?
It shouldn't matter.
Yeah, it shouldn't matter.
Do you think it would be helpful if the hospital was more accommodating to your cultural beliefs and values?
I think it would be. I think it would be, yeah.
Because I understand that's part of the healing process.
Yeah, it is. With Native people, a lot of the healing process is praying. We do a lot of that. We've got down here, we've got the Shaker Church, we've got the Longhouse. We do with me being an addict right now, I go to alcohol and drug counseling, and I also go every second week to a Shaker church.
Yeah.
And I do that because we all, with Native people, that's part of healing, is to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But when my dad died, people just looked at us like, you know,
what
we'd have people watching us.
Yeah.
And it was a kind of embarrassing, but it also may be to the fact that they don't understand,
Yeah.
you know, different cultures.
Yeah.
But I think maybe they just need to learn a little bit about the culture. And I think just a lot of Native people just want to be treated with a little bit of respect because they feel like they're not being treated that way.
Yeah.
Because there is a lot of stereotyping here with Native people, you know, that we're all drunks. And because I've only started drinking 3 months ago. And people, I've lived here all my life. I was born in that hospital. I've lived here all my life. And I've had people think that I'm nothing but a drunk my whole life. And it actually...
That's unfair.
Yeah. I've never lived on the reserve until the past 5 years. And I didn't want to associate myself with any people that were drinking because I thought that's what everybody thinks that I am anyways, you know. It wasn't... Because I used to be, when I was a kid, I used to walk down the street and see all the drunks walking around all drunk. And it embarrassed me that I wouldn't tell people, no, I'm not Indian.
Yeah.
Don't know. But then I got to know my own culture and stuff like that, and it's like, you know what? It's just something that I don't know what it is about Native people. They can't handle the booze thing, you know, like with the abuse that goes on, and there's all those cops down here. There's a lot of things, yeah. And I don't know what it is, but just people stereotype us, and the thing is we're not, you know, if you get to know a lot of us, we're just okay people.
Yeah.
Like my boyfriend, he's white, and he's like, I have never had so many Native people, like, he goes, I walk down the street, they all say hi to me. He goes, you walk down the street, other people aren't like that. He goes, it's very different,
Okay. With that,
I think people just want a break, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think we got a pretty good inside view for what it's like to be on the other side of the service counter. Next, we're going to go ask the lovely couple over there on what their opinion is. So